With no masks in sight, thousands of flag-waving onlookers cheered on to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Workers' Party and watched the new weaponry paraded before them. The display of North Korea's latest nuclear hardware included what appeared to be an intercontinental ballistic missile.
We'll continue to strengthen the war deterrent. By our means of righteous self-defense, we'll contain and control any threats from hostile forces, including their sustained and aggravating nuclear threat.
North Korea hasn't showcased a nuclear weapon since the 2018 talks between its leader Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump. Analysts believe the country is trying to give the impression its nuclear warheads could now reach the US mainland.
Less than 24 hours after it came into effect, the Moscow brokered ceasefire agreement between Azerbaijan and ethnic Armenian forces has been put under immense strain. Azeri forces say these images show the country's second largest city, Ganja, after it came under an early morning rocket attack. Bodies are pulled from the rubble, with Azerbaijan's government saying at least a handful of people were killed. Ethnic Armenian forces in the breakaway region of Nagorno-Karabakh deny the claims and say the situation remains tense. The ceasefire was meant to allow the two sides to exchange prisoners and the bodies of fallen fighters. More substantive negotiations are supposed to follow, and the stakes are high for the entire region that has recently seen the worst fighting in nearly 30 years. Turkey has waded into the latest flare-up by providing military support to its close ally Azerbaijan, creating fears of a larger conflict with Russia, which has a defense pact with Armenia.
India and China will be holding their 7th military-level talks on Monday. The meet is expected to not only take stock of the situation on ground, but also the measures on de-escalation by the Chinese side. Meanwhile, the Indian Air Force carried out sorties in Ladakh amid the heightened tensions between the two neighbours. MiG-29 fighter jets, Chinook and Cheetah helicopters, as well as C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft were seen participating in this operation. The activities are seen as preparation for the winter onset. The colder months pose several challenges like snowfall and poor visibility. The IAF said that the forces were ready and well positioned to take on the adversaries.
Violence as demonstrations against alleged police brutality gather momentum across Nigeria. Demonstrators say this man was shot by security forces, but the video cannot be independently verified. In the capital, more than 100 protesters have camped out in front of the country's police headquarters, demanding a police unit known as the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, accused of carrying out extrajudicial killings and extortion, be disbanded. Obi Junu Iloanya's brother was last seen in police detention in 2012. The family assumes he's been killed, and for no reason. His sister says the family's petition to the police for access to him, dead or alive, was ignored.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is facing a sedition case alone now. This as the police declared his party members innocent. The Lahore police recently dropped sedition case against 41 senior PMLN leaders, including Nawaz Sharif's daughter Maryam Nawaz. However, Sharif continues to face the heat even after Prime Minister Imran Khan distanced himself from the case. Interestingly, the FIR was lodged on the complaint of a local activist affiliated to Khan's party, the PTI. The complainant alleged that Sharif delivered hateful speeches against Pakistan while addressing the opposition's multi-party conference and his party's Central Working Committee and Central Executive Committee. The former Pakistani Prime Minister's party members were also accused of endorsing his views. Meanwhile, trouble continues to mount for Sharif, who has been summoned by the Islamabad High Court in a graft case. According to a report, Sharif has been asked to appear before the court by November 24th.
This video appears to show the moment a gunman tried to assassinate Kyrgyzstan's former president, Almazbek Atambayev. Only hours before, he had appeared for the first time in public since being freed from jail by supporters during protests over last week's parliamentary election results. Atambayev, who was jailed last year for corruption, was unhurt in the attack. The Central Election Committee annulled Sunday's election results after widespread vote buying. The opposition says pro-government parties were most to blame. Since then, Kyrgyzstan has descended into chaos. In the early afternoon on Friday, Bishkek's Alatul Square began filling up with supporters of various opposition parties. President Sooronbay Jeenbekov said he will resign after a new cabinet is voted by Parliament.
Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Israeli cities on Saturday, calling for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to step down over corruption charges and his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. To comply with COVID restrictions, the demonstrators had to gather at multiple locations rather than their habitual site, which is outside Netanyahu's official residence in Jerusalem. The largest protest was at Habima Square in central Tel Aviv. Thousands of people blew horns and pounded on drums and tambourines. The protesters waved pink and black flags, symbolising various grassroots protest movements. Some of the banners, using Netanyahu's nickname, said, "Bibi, you're destroying my future," while others simply read, "Go." Although largely peaceful, police reported some clashes in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
Taiwan's National Day celebrations taking place at a time of rising tensions with neighboring China. But rather than showcasing the island's military might, it was used as an opportunity to open the door to dialogue with Beijing. President Tsai Ing-wen's National Day speech held both veiled and pointed messages for China. And even the offer to start talks came with conditions that Beijing should treat Taiwan as an equal and listen to Taipei's concerns. Beijing cut off official contact with Taiwan after Tsai was first elected in 2016. Relations deteriorated further when she won a second term with a promise to preserve the island's sovereignty. The president commended the Taiwanese forces and stressed the importance of stepping up the island's military capabilities in the face of increased aggression from Beijing.
Now, a team of senior detectives have left for Walvis Bay to lead the investigation into the mysterious disappearance and suspected murder of 22-year-old Shannon Wassefall. Now, human remains thought to be those of Wassefall's were discovered on Tuesday after a tip-off was sent to her family. That discovery sparked outrage over an increase in gender-based violence in Namibia. At least 300 citizens held a #ShutItAllDown protest demanding justice. Namibian police then fired tear gas, rubber bullets and arrested dozens of protesters in the capital during the third day of the nationwide demonstrations. Now, Eagle FM in Namibia has confirmed that 24 young protesters and 3 journalists are being held at the Windhoek Central Prison after being arrested at that protest.
13 people believed to have come from the same family lost their lives and 2 sustained serious injuries in the horror crash. KwaZulu-Natal Transport MEC Begin Tuli will today visit the families of the people who died after a taxi overturned between Underberg and Mbalula near the southern Drakensberg yesterday. The department has instituted an investigation into the circumstances that led to the crash.
donde tenemos personas fallecidas. A lo menos nosotros hemos detectado en esta revisión con personal de bomberos, con personal de SAMU, 2 cuerpos calcinados al interior de una de las camionetas.